It's just like, if what we're doing isn't affecting anyone else negatively, then what's the issue?
This is Octavia, and she didn't know today is 420. Do you know what 420 represents?
I do know what 420 represents, yeah.
What is it?
It's weed. It's weed day, right?
Okay. Let's call it Weed Day. It is a celebration of the use of recreational marijuana. Octavia, in your opinion, is the use of the recreational drug marijuana worth celebrating?
I think that it can be. I've tried it before. It's nice, I guess. And like, it helps a lot of people, so I guess it has some sort of benefit.
Yeah, medicinally, I'm with you on that. I'm talking about not for dealing with fibromyalgia or whatever a malady might be. I'm talking about just getting stoned.
You know what? Yeah, I think that if someone's hobby isn't inherently hurting someone else, then yeah, blaze it, get stoned.
Go ahead and do it. All right. Okay. I have to confess to you, it's kind of amazing to me that you would so casually reveal that you've actually tried it before.
Yeah, with Georgia, it's like slowly, and it was like once. It's like after it wasn't really my thing. But I don't know, like I guess there's less stigma about it now.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I honestly, though, think, Octavia, with my generation, we'd be way more guarded with that information because we'd perceive there's still a stigma. You're right. Your generation doesn't think that there's a stigma, which actually brings me back to my question. You said basically, if it doesn't hurt anybody, blaze away, I think was your phrase, right? All right. Why is hurting somebody the standard that you define for determining if somebody should blaze away or not?
I think part of that is like with my mom being a nurse and kind of me wanting to go into healthcare, just like if what you're doing starts to harm like others and others around you, then it's like, okay, because it's what you do, like if you know the effect that it has on you, then fine, but like other people don't ask to be like negatively affected by what you're doing, so it shouldn't be that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it is. I think it's actually a pretty pervasive worldview that do no harm. If it doesn't hurt anybody, if it feels good, do it. If it hurts somebody, well, now you're getting into somebody else's territory. But as autonomous human beings, we can do whatever we want as long as it pleases self and doesn't hurt others. That's actually a pretty pervasive worldview. Would you cling to that as yours?
I'm having a bit of a slow moment right now. The word pervasive, what do you mean?
Really, it's just a lot of people in your demographic, your generation would say, that's a good worldview.
Yeah, I think because like we've all learned like the golden rule, do unto others as you have them do unto you. And with that sort of thing, and just like all of us kind of like being wrapped up in our own stuff, it's just like, if what we're doing isn't affecting anyone else negatively, then what's the issue? I guess that's the general.
Let me see if I can test that. Okay. All right. Let's just say I harbored ill will toward you, just because I don't like your earrings. I just don't like you, and I harbor those thoughts. Well, that doesn't really hurt you. Therefore, is it okay?
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
I agree with that, but my point was, I'm not hurting you by having bad thoughts about you, but I think you would agree you shouldn't have bad thoughts about somebody. That's not kind. It's not good.
It does suck, but I know like opinions tend to be subjective, and like the way that we put out into the world, maybe to someone else I'm like the worst person in the world, but they don't know all of me.
True, but I was just trying to address the ideology, the belief that says as long as it doesn't hurt somebody, it's okay.
It's a slippery slope. It definitely is. I acknowledge that. It's for sure a slippery slope.
Right. Yeah, and there's things that people, I think, can actually do to themselves that are harmful to them. And so even though it may be getting stoned a lot doesn't affect other people, I think it actually does. There's ripple effects. But I think it also could, if it hurts them, that would be another reason to say that's not such a good thing.
That is true. That's definitely true.
Earth Day is Thursday. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah. It is a celebration of finals. It's nothing compared to 420 and Earth Day. So Earth Day is a celebration of the planet, of the Earth. Do you believe that is worth celebrating?
For sure. The Earth has been through some stuff. We're kind of putting it through some stuff. So I think that, recognizing that it's a beautiful place and that should be protected is something worth celebrating.
What if I said to you, you know what, planet, it's here, it's disposable. If it gets trashed and the next generation doesn't get to enjoy it, too bad. I'm here for me. How would you respond to that belief or that attitude?
I would say that it's going to start to affect them sooner than later, with shorelines kind of pushing into, inland. I'm sorry, I had a brain. Storms are only getting worse because of everything that we're doing. So it's like, it's going to start to affect you sooner than you think.
But I don't care. I'm just going to blaze away, and I am just going to live my life. And if this place gets trashed, fine, I'll go down with it.
If that's their perspective, then, who am I to be able to change that?
All right, I'm gonna try something different.
Okay.
Let me try a different way to look at the issue of marijuana and the planet. All right, I would, from my perspective, say I would be able to identify whether pot was good or bad, whether we should be treating the planet a certain way, only if there is some sort of governing authority that insists this is right or this is wrong. Without somebody bigger than me, more powerful than me, superior to me, all I can do is look at these issues and have a preference or an opinion, but I can't definitively determine just what is good or bad, and that just has more to do with not just pot or the planet, but really regarding any moral issues. If there isn't some sort of governing authority that has laid down the law, I can't say that hating you is good or bad, just my preference. Or I couldn't say that beating up a small child is bad because there's no authority. It would just be my opinion. Right. Therefore, in order for us to have some standards of morality, we have to have a moral lawgiver. And that thinking actually helps me to understand there is a moral lawgiver. Because if there's morals, you and I would agree beating up a small kid is bad, right? And we'd agree, I shouldn't hate you because of your earrings. That's just wrong. And I shouldn't probably bake my brain and be unproductive. That's not good. We know those things because there is a moral lawgiver. There is somebody who has determined that standard, and therefore you and I can make the claim that certain things are right or wrong. Without God existing, then this whole thing is anybody's game, and we should be able to do anything we want to and treat anybody the way that we want. And I can beat up a small kid because I want to, and you can't tell me I'm wrong because there is no right or wrong. Therefore, because there is right and wrong, I intuit, I believe, I reason that there is a God.
You do not need to be embarrassed that you are terrified to share your faith. We all are, but we do all need to overcome our terrors and get about the business of sharing the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Terrified 2, a resource available at wretched.org, will help you overcome your witnessing heebie-jeebies and equip you to be obedient to the Great Commission. Wretched.org/terrified2.